Hey gang, welcome once again to the Iron Crane Dojo. We just finished a class, and before everyone leaves today, Sensei Chris Entis and Steve Tilka have agreed to demonstrate the final two sequences of the takedown and control responses to the right-hand incoming punch. And again, this isn't street fighting per se. This is practicing archetypical techniques so that you develop the requisite skills that you need to be a competent and flowing fighter, and also a street fighter or a competition fighter. But this is how you learn the techniques, starting out of the starting gate, and then you spend several years perfecting them. But we're just trying to, for general entertainment purposes, share with you how we train and how this stuff has evolved within our own system. We're going to pick up immediately with technique number 8, with Steve throwing an incoming right-hand punch in the direction of Sensei Chris. Sensei Chris will execute the entire technique just so you have an idea of the flow. This is just done at a very slow, moderate speed so you can see the nuances that are unfolding. Okay, now man. Every one of these sequences presents a set of geometrical concepts that are essential to your understanding of the flow in the martial arts. Sequence number 8 is probably the most complex of all the sequences because it involves maybe 10 to 15 different principles of movement. So without spending a lot of time, we're just going to give you a thumbnail sketch or outline of what these entail. Steve comes in with his punch, Sensei Chris blocks. Now the block itself, if you come over here with the camera, and one more time, throw the punch. It's a mantis block followed by a quick strike. Now going to the other side so you can see how the left hand is controlling. When he does the block, just do the block in slow motion so you will. You see he catches and controls the arm, okay? And rolls it over into the next move. And notice how he's controlling the wrist, the bent wrist lock, brings it down, looks for targets as he's doing it. You have any number of targets here on the attacker's body. He chooses a target underneath. He doesn't have to pick that target, it's just the target of choice in the moment that we're dealing with right now. Once he stuns the attacker, he goes into the next move, which is a modified suplex. And you can see how he cradles the suplex, gains the platform, goes underneath to the far side. Come over here with the camera, if you will. And this is what it looks like on the far side. Now show the feet, and by modifying his position, Sensei Chris is amping up the leverage on that hand. And you can actually see the pressure mounting as Steve taps. Sensei Chris executes the next move. Now this is a complete change of locking position, and he's doing this to bring Steve to the ground. Rolls him over and uses the flow of that rollover to the ground to continue with a step over, mount, and lift Steve's neck into the crease of his left knee, applies a combination neck chokehold, cranks it down, and this is combined with an arm bar against the inside of his thigh. Okay, and if you just do a walk around with the camera so they get you all angles of that. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. If you'll stand up, and we'll go right to number 9. Okay, and for purposes of limited time that we have here, I'm going to ask Steve throw the punch at Sensei Chris, if you will. And Sensei Chris executes the full move to number 9. Now this is a head crank, and this is very similar to what you see in big-time professional wrestling. They do this all the time in professional wrestling. Conceptually, it can be a very effective technique. And when it's practiced, it's never practiced with force. Just because the crank, it applies so much leverage to the opponent's neck and head, it needs to be done under the supervision of a competent black belt and done only in a very relaxed fashion. So if we have the attacker on this side, so you do an alternate view, and we just sort of break this move down. Steve throws the punch. Just stop right there. Sensei Chris is going to do an X block on the punch. So Steve goes back and throws the punch. And there's the X block. And the X block is nice. A lot of people don't like the X block, but if you can do the X block and flow, you can flow into any number of positions quite quickly from that because it gains significant leverage. Plus the X block, if done properly, allows you to maintain your line of balance. And if you look at Sensei Chris's line, it's solid, but if you look at Steve's line, it's tilted just ever so slightly forward. He may not think he's off balance, but he is. And Sensei Chris employs that loss of balance and that distinction between their balances to gain control of Steve, which he goes to do at this point. Does a cobra wrap around Steve's head, circles about, and bring the camera over here if you will. Locks and cranks. Okay? Again, he's not putting pressure on it. And this is a very solid move. It's very quickly entered into. It can be a control move, and if the person wishes not to be controlled and continues to attack you, it can be a finishing move. But you have all those possibilities. Gentlemen, if you will, just relax. Thank you, as always, for your help and assistance, and thank you for visiting our site and taking the opportunity to share the experience that we've had in the martial arts with yourselves in your own lives. And as always, I remain committed to producing these videos over time, if only to document my history in the martial arts, because I'm an old man. And there's only so much time that you have left to do these things. And my teachers never had opportunity to document what they did. So I do this for posterity and for my friends, and consider all of you out there to be amongst those. Thank you.